Now that most of my musical projects have been finished, I start to think about what was accomplished over the years, what was most effective or notable. I was struggling as an ambient artist, using various canned pad samples, and a collaborator, Christopher McDill, suggested I harvest my own sounds. I thought a more organic approach was a good idea. I purchased a mini-disc recorder, which at the time was standard for field recording, and a cheap microphone. I really enjoyed capturing the sounds of the city apartment where I lived. Sometimes it was interesting simply to record atmospheric sounds as they happened, on the back stairwell or from my bedroom window. My basement was full of interesting sounds, and I recorded a number of pieces there. I also took field-recorded sounds and used them as samples in longer pieces. A spoon hitting a pan, a microwave, a refrigerator drone, these and other sounds were used in place of the sounds I had earlier purchased. What I was conveying at the time, partly without realizing it, was the sound of living in isolation and poverty. I was suffering from paranoid schizophrenia, living by myself in a low-rent apartment in South St. Louis. My recordings and pieces from this period connoted the grit and grime of living this way. The moods matched the sullen depression of loneliness and solitude. 3 main releases came to mind from this period, though there were literally dozens more. One was South City Spring. This was the earliest and lowest fi. I was using a plastic microphone meant for recording office meetings. South City Spring came out on my very own net label, Tree Trunk Records, in 2006. Later there was Reduced. I purchased a better microphone which captured clearer, higher fidelity audio. Reduced was released by myself as a CDR and was later remastered and released online for streaming or downloading. Finally, from this period I should mention Nocturne. It had a noir title and received a nice review from Christopher McDill. Nocturne was released on Tree Trunk Records in 2006, and it ended up being one of the most listened to releases on the net label. Looking back, of all of the 5,000 plus tracks I created, this period was pivotal in its raw honesty. It represents one of the best audio records of living in poverty that I have ever heard, other than perhaps one of many early recordings by the early blues musicians. I don't revisit this period to inspire guilt or to dwell on past hardships. What occurred to me is that over the years something changed. Catching this change partly through was the track Alter Kiss. Alter Kiss was an ambient drone track that used as its source material the chorus of leaking pipes from my bedroom in this same old apartment. It was released in 2010 on Webbed Hand Records, Mr. McDill's net label. I used digital effects to transform the leaking sounds into longer bell-like drones. I added the sounds of the pipes back to the drones. The result is a dirty but beautiful ambient track that slowly shifts and oscillates. In 2017, I put a wrap on both Mystified and Mr. Vapor. I released the folder of field recordings I had collected in that old apartment on Bandcamp, where anyone can download them for free. Between 2010 and 2017, a lot happened to me personally. I met a wonderful woman and got married. We moved in together and eventually bought our first house. I thought about stopping my work as a musician and a sound artist. I had other commitments. When Mystified ended, I was inspired to create a temporary project known as Grid Resistor. For Grid Resistor, I used my field recording gear to capture the highest fidelity recordings of machine sounds as possible. Often I used a contact microphone, which eliminated any sounds floating in the spaces, and only captured the vibrations of the source sounds themselves. I made over 26 hours of industrial drone textures as Grid Resistor, and it was all very clear, high fidelity, and placid in tone. It occurred to me that with this temporary project, I had come back to my roots as a phonographer, yet had evolved in mood, technology, and sophistication. I am glad that I can still learn new techniques, and I'm grateful that my life has improved, and that my music reflects this. To those going through hard times, don't give up. Things may sound brutal and harsh, but life just may take a turn for the better if you have hope and patience.